Hello guys, thanks for joining this session. In this session, we are going to do a lab on AWS Relational Database Service, that is RDS. So let's look into the exercises. What are the exercises which we are going to perform in this lab? So in this lab, we are going to create MySQL DB instance, and then afterwards we will download and install a SQL client, that is SQL Client Workbench, and we will use that SQL client to connect to this MySQL DB instance, and once it is being done, then we will delete the DB instance. So let's jump into the AWS management console, and from there we will use the RDS console and create the MySQL DB instance. So we are into AWS management console, and here you need to click on RDS, which is on database section. Click on RDS, then it will take us to RDS console. Now we need to click on create database, and here we will get the option to choose a data creation method. So we are going to choose the standard create, and here we need to opt for engine option. We have variety of options available over here, but we will choose MySQL for this lab. Once it is being done, then we need to select the free tier as we are practicing on it. Then afterwards we need to specify the database instance name. Here we will provide that RDS_demo_instance. You can select the same thing. So here the naming convention is not being supported, so what we need to do, we need to change it, and we will put hyphen, so it will take, and then we will proceed further. We will take the name and we will keep the same name as a master username, and afterwards we need to provide the password. Once it is being done, then we will proceed further and confirm the password, the same password. And here DB instance size, which I already mentioned about this thing in our theory section. Here we are getting an option burstable classes for a free tier, and we are getting DB-T2 micro, which has one virtual CPU and 1 GB of RAM for this particular DB instance, which is coming with free tier. Now moving further, we have a storage. Again we are sticking with the default option, that is general purpose SSD, and allocated storage which we are getting with the free tier is 20 GB. Now moving further, we don't have option for multi-AZ as we are using free tier. Then we will proceed further and look into the connectivity. So this is pretty much important. So you should focus on two things while setting up the connectivity. You need to click on additional connectivity configuration, and here you should make sure that you will be choosing yes. If you will not choose yes, then you are not able to connect to this DB2 instance. And another option, you should make sure that you will be choosing create new for this VPC security group. So here you need to specify that the security group name RDS demo SG. Now we will proceeding further. We are just leaving as is, no preference. So AWS will pick any of the availability zone over here, and then we have the port number, we will leave it as is. The database authentication, we are going with the password authentication over here. We have also option to set up the backup along with the monitoring. So you can click over here. You should provide the name of the database. What would be the initial name? We are going to give it as RDS demo DB, and then afterwards we will leave it as is. For backup retention, we can provide 1 day. If you have any option to select the window size of the backup when this backup will get kicked off, so you can select this and you can specify your start timing. Then we have an option for monitoring. Here you can select the monitoring. If you select it, then you are able to provide the configuration for that. So we will leave it as is, and there is a maintenance window that you can also specify. If you will select that thing, then you need to specify that when the maintenance will occur. So we are going to stick with the default preference, that is no preference. And there is another option we are getting over here is deletion protection. So if you enable this deletion protection, then you are not able to delete the database. So we are not going to stick with it. We will leave it as is. Now here the pricing, it is telling that we are going to get 750 hours of RDS if we are using free tier. Along with that, we are getting 20 GB of general purpose storage, that is of SSD type, and then we have 20 GB of automated backup storage. Now we are happy with this thing. Now we need to two things you should make sure while clicking on create database. The first one, which I already mentioned, that you should select the public accessible, yes, and here you have provided the create new. Now click on create database. So here the instance name is not good, so we need to give some name over here. Let it be like RDS demo instance. Copy it, change the password, we can keep the same name, so that we will not forget. So as it is a demo, so we will leave it as is. Now what we will do, we will click on create database. So it will take 5 minutes to create the database. So it is started now. If you will see here, you will find that went to the creating state. So we will wait for it, and once it is being done, then I will come back. So I am pausing the video now. So now the database has been created over here. See here, you are getting successfully created database. Now we will proceed to the second exercise. So now what we will do, we will download a SQL client from a URL. So let's grab the URL. So this is the URL from where we need to download the client. That is MySQL client workbench. So copy it. I have provided you this link into the resource section, so you can use that. So we will come here, open the browser, paste the URL, and we will go to the URL and we will grab this client. So we will click on download, and here you need to click on this no thanks, just start my download, and it will give you this file. Click on save file. Once it is being downloaded, then we will get this MSI file. We need to right click and click on install. It started installing. So here in the widget you need to click on next. For your case, you will be getting complete or custom option. You need to select complete option, as I have already installed, so that's the reason I am getting this option. And then you need to click on next, then next, and you will get the install option. So click on install. So once the installation is being done, then you need to open the MySQL client workbench. So click on finish. So let's proceed further. So we have created a MySQL DB instance. We have downloaded and installed the SQL client. Now we will open this SQL client, that is MySQL workbench client, and then we will connect with that client to this MySQL database, which we have created at the first step. So let's open the MySQL client workbench. So we are into MySQL workbench client. So to connect to the database, you need to click on this plus icon, and here you need to provide RDS demo connection. Just give a name, and here we need to specify the endpoint. So let's grab the endpoint from AWS RDS console. So to grab it, you will be getting view credential detail. You need to click on this, and here you will get this option. Click on copy. It is being copied. Now we will go to the workbench client, that is MySQL workbench client, and here you need to specify that, and the username. Now we need to grab the username. So here we need to grab this username which we have specified at the time of creation. Copy it, go back to MySQL client workbench, and here you should paste it, and the password you need to specify over here, store in vault. Here you can specify the password. Okay, now test the connection. So it is successfully done. Now next we need to click OK, and here right click, open connection. So it is taking time. Now we have connected to the AWS RDS MySQL database engine. So if you create anything over here, that will be created into AWS RDS MySQL database engine. So we have completed this exercise. Now moving further. So we have connected, we have created MySQL DB instance, then we have downloaded and installed SQL client. What we did in the last step, we have connected to the MySQL database. Now next we need to delete that DB instance which we have created. So let's jump into the MySQL workbench client, and we will close that. So first we will close this one, and then we will go to AWS management console, and from there we will delete the DB instance. So we are here now. So close this one, and now what we need to do, we need to select this one and go to the action and click on delete, and here you need to deselect it, then you need to acknowledge it, and here you need to specify that delete me. Then you will get an option to delete, so you can click on it. So it will take another 5 minutes to delete this RDS instance, and once it is being done, then we will done with this lab. So it is still deleting, so let's wait for it. I'm going to pause the video now. Once it is being done, then I will show you. So now the database is being completely deleted. If you will refresh this page, then you will find that the database has gone now. So just refresh it. So you will find that there is no database presence, no instance is being present. So let's jump into the exercises. What are the exercises we have performed, so that we will wrap it. So in this lab we have gone through creation of a MySQL DB instances, then we have downloaded and installed SQL client, and with the help of SQL client we have connected to the MySQL database, and at the end of the session we have deleted that instance. So this is what I wanted to demonstrate you in this session. See you in the next session. Till then, bye bye, take care.